Finding Nemo. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to AI Made Us Watch. I'm Eli.
I'm Diana.
And Finding Nemo today was the movie that AI swore that it would destroy humanity if we did not watch it. Also, I believe we had to watch this one in order for the aliens to give AI its missing son back because the AI got a little too into the Forgotten and started playing that role.
Super
weird.
Weird glitch.
AI is a real magnet. If it sees something, it just latches onto it.
I guess it was a weird one for it to latch onto because the Forgotten was
like a lamprey, which are those things that attach to sharks, I think.
Oh.
So ocean reference.
Very
for
appropriate
Finding Nemo.
for Finding Nemo.
Speaking of being aquatically related to this movie, we literally just got back, sat down and started Finding Nemo. We were on Tybee Island, which is outside Savannah, Georgia, for our friend Molly's birthday because she moved years ago to San Francisco. She flew out to see her family in Savannah, and we were just like, there's one night. We've got time.
Yeah.
We'll grab our friend Cherry. We're going to drive down there, spend one night on Tybee Island, and then drive back to Atlanta in the morning. So it was about 8 hours of driving to spend, about 8 hours awake, but worth it.
Worth it.
We had a great time.
The stars were serving.
If you go to my Instagram, at Oh Great It's Eli, you can see some pictures we took of the sky.
Yeah.
With, let's see if Google sends me anything free for this one. My new Google Pixel 8 Pro with its stunning astrophotography feature.
That's true.
I loved it. It's gorgeous. Go look at my pictures and Google, send me some free shit. You'll need the advertising, right?
Yeah, they're really suffering.
Yeah.
Without a mouthpiece.
Tough time for old Alphabet. They don't have a celebrity spokesperson. It might as well be me.
That's so true,
But I thought it was so funny that we were just, you and I don't eat seafood.
No.
I'm a vegetarian and you don't like seafood.
No.
But we were just literally in a place where everyone was eating nothing but seafood, and then we go home and watch Finding Nemo.
We're they really have a lot of family bonds.
Yeah, you're seeing some real serious trauma.
Talking about years and years of time before you can go to school.
Oh my God.
Do fish even live that long? Anyway.
Yeah, let's
get into it.
I guess let's get into it because
why not?
Finding Nemo was, I don't even remember what year it was.
It was 2003.
2003?
Yeah. So did you identify strongly with Nemo?
Oh, man. As a senior in high school, Nemo was basically my whole identity.
Sure.
I'm sure I saw it in theaters, but it wasn't something that I strongly connected to or got sucked into.
I think same. I'm sure I saw it in the theaters, but
yeah, I think just by way of it being a Pixar movie, I was like, yeah, I'm going to see it.
Obviously.
It seems like each Pixar movie says, or Disney, whatever, that's a whole complicated bond. I don't have the Disney adult knowledge to get into, but it seems like each one of these movies picked a advancement in its animation and was like, we're going to show you something new. And I know that for Finding Nemo, it seemed like that was lighting. Because that's how you do underwater effects, right? It's all lighting.
True.
And this one I noticed, if you look at the Toy Stories, it's really cool animation, fairly flat lighting. There's not a lot of dynamic shadows or this sort of reflective surfaces that you're seeing. And I think for them to make an underwater movie, they said, we have to advance what animated lighting looks like in these CG things.
Yeah.
And it's very impressive.
It is. It was beautiful, of course. Beautiful movie. Thought the same thing about the shadows.
Yeah.
Especially with the fish that made symbols or whatever with their school of fish.
Oh, yeah.
They had so much cool reflection sometimes and shadows sometimes that they were sparkling, and it was just really cool.
Really impressive work there.
Yeah.
I know, I think in Monsters, Inc., it was hair because Sully was all about him having individual hairs. That was something, if you look at Toy Story, the characters, the first Toy Story, remember Sid looked like, it was just a brown matte hair thing. They didn't do individual hairs in those movies.
You're right. Sully was, I remember people being like, oh, did you see his fur?
You would see each piece of fur. It was
freaking
incredible.
Waves in the air.
Yeah. And then The Incredibles, they were experimenting with what if these movies were awesome.
Amazing action films.
Just so good.
So fucking good. I love The Incredibles.
But we're not there yet. We're at Finding Nemo.
We're at Finding Nemo.
So animation-wise, very impressed. I mean, you can see that this is a 20-year-old movie. I think, if you go watch Moana or something from the last couple years, it's night and day.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of advancements, but it's still very beautifully crafted, I think.
Yeah,
if the technology has come further, it's,
I think I was struck that it wasn't as funny as I thought it would be.
Right.
I thought it was going to be more of a trying to crack a joke, LOL, every 5 minutes. It was really more of a kid's action movie, or adventure movie.
Very adventure.
Much more like an adventure movie.
Yeah.
With some quips here and there than it was a comedy film with some action, with some adventure in it. So I really liked that, though. I thought that was cool. I think that's cool when Pixar kind of thinks about different genres of movie to play with,
right? And
different kind of types of movie to play with, and then they're like, kids will love it. It doesn't have to be about farting or something,
right?
or whatever.
I think that's the difference in maybe. I don't want to generalize, but some other animated studios that have put out some great movies too, but sometimes have fallen into that pattern of the same physical comedy over and over again. And Disney's done it too at times.
Oh, yeah.
But I agree. I think this one defied expectations a bit. On the adventure note, I'll say a broad thing that I thought about Finding Nemo was it felt a little too much like just a series of circumstances rather than one continuous narrative. It was sort of like, okay, now Marlin and Dory, they have this obstacle. And then they get out of it. And then we go and check in on Nemo. Then we come back to them. Now here's a different obstacle. And then they get out of it. And then we go check on Nemo. Now here's another obstacle. And they get into it and they get out of it. And it's sort of just like a series of moments rather than one sort of leading to the next. And that's sort of built into an adventure genre piece. I mean, that can be, something that's frequent, I think, where it's all about their individual trials that they have to overcome to get somewhere. But I think if this movie suffers anywhere, it's the through line. It's not, maybe not the through line, but at least one scene bleeding into the next. One thing leading to the next thing instead of these chunks sort of broken up.
Right on.
I think this is the first Disney movie that I know of that starts with the dead spouse trope, which became a real trope. I mean, maybe we exaggerate it more, but it felt like for a minute every Disney movie started with mom or wife, sometimes dad, ends up dead. And that's our foundation of trauma for the movie.
Right.
Right? I mean, Up did it. Big Hero 6 did it.
I mean, shit, Bambi did it.
That's true. Bambi, we want to go back. I guess it's the Bambi trope.
And of course, Dumbo's mom.
Well,
sad as
God,
hell.
at least she was alive.
Listen. Thank God, because just that one with the trunk out the I was like, no, this movie is so sad.
No.
I'd rather watch The Forgotten.
No.
Hang on. Let's not
say things we can't take back.
Let's not be hasty here.
That was a lot. I mean, it is a very jarring opening with Albert Brooks' character, Marlin, Nemo's dad, being the sole survivor of this barracuda attack that eats their 399 fish eggs, except for one. Which it leaves damaged, and his wife, who off camera is devoured by a barracuda. This is
traumatic.
Very
tragic.
On one hand, I'm like, okay, that's what you're setting up, and it definitely sets the tone for the rest of the movie. Marlin is terrified of the world now. He's always afraid something horrible is going to happen. Clearly, he's dealing with serious trauma. I don't know if they have fish therapists, but he needs one. But it also sets the tone for this movie, which is everyone's traumatized and sad and everything's dark and scary. And one of the challenging things in this movie for me was that the two main characters, Marlin and Dory, are both kind of really annoying. And I'm glad they have each other. I'm glad they complement each other. But between his OCD, he's so neurotic, he's so depressed.
Yeah.
He's just such a worrywart, and everything about him makes him very hard to be around.
Yep.
To where Dory, who is Ellen DeGeneres being a forgetful doofus, somehow she's the less irritating character.
Somehow. Well, I was going to say, Albert Brooks has just a an annoying voice to me. I was like, I don't like to listen to him talk.
The man is a legend.
I'm sorry. I understand that he is a talented person. I'm not trying to take away. It's just a subjective thing where I'm like, I don't want to listen to that. So that's probably why I didn't like Finding Nemo to begin with.
Sorry, Albert Brooks. You ruined Finding Nemo for Diana.
No, I thought his performance was good or whatever, but he had an annoying voice. His character was so annoying to me.
He was very hard to watch.
I was like, oh my God. Even though I had a lot of sympathy for him, as 100%. You're saying, you can see exactly why he is how he is.
Yeah.
But you're so judgmental and you're so patronizing and you just think you know everything. You don't know shit. Right. And then you're running around here telling everybody what they can and can't do. Like, you know something. I kept wanting to slap him real hard, you know?
Yeah.
So but it was a good arc, you know, for him to have to kind of loosen up a little bit, realize, you know, you have to have a little fun. You know, life is dangerous, but you can't protect yourself or anyone from everything all the time.
Yeah.
You have to get out there and do stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I appreciated that, but I was just like, oh my God, he's just hard to sympathize with because, as you say, they're just annoying.
He's just hard to spend time with.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's just hard to spend time with.
I love the school. That was a part where I thought they were able to play with the humor a little bit, you know, some ocean puns.
Yeah, totally.
All the kids doing funny little fish stuff.
There was a moment where I was like, they have sinuses because they would snore, you know? And I was like, I don't know. But I was like, just let it go.
It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon.
just
it's
let
a
it go.
very, I'll tell you what, it's one of the cartooniest Pixar cartoons in a way, in terms of like just being like a Looney Tunes thing, where they really don't let you think about the reality of it. I guess Cars is like that too, but
can we talk about the reality of it really quick?
I would absolutely love to. I can, if I may, I'd like to start with at the school when Nemo's first going to school and they go and see the boat and the kids call it a butt and it's funny. Haha, can you go touch the butt?
Yeah.
But then when Marlin gets there, when the parents get there, they know it's a boat.
Yeah.
And this is when I start realizing that they have so much knowledge of the human world.
Yes.
And again, it's something you just have to let go. It's not like Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid, they don't understand what a boat is or anything that people do. These guys know not only what a boat is, but they know like mechanics. They understand a lot of physics. At one point late in the movie, they're in the whale and he makes a reference to Moby Dick. Like these guys have a wealth of knowledge. And when the divers come and take Nemo, he says like divers took him.
Right.
So they understand scuba diving too.
I mean, Dory can read English.
Dory can read English. Totally unexplained.
They knew it was an address that they were reading.
He knew it was English. He's like, I can't read this human language. Like he knew it was a language. And they said, we need to find a fish who can read this. So they knew that there are fish who can. And it turned out to be Dory.
Honestly, the information structure within the ocean, because like they tell the story of Marlin going across the ocean.
Yeah.
It's the most accurate game of telephone I've ever seen. And it's like the variety of species are sharing this information between one another.
Oh, yeah.
They're walking around and they're getting it right. There is a real network going on here.
It's one of those
I'm
weird
impressed.
Disney rules where all animals can talk to each other.
Yeah.
But none of them can talk to humans.
Except, I guess, the seagulls, because they could only say one thing.
Oh, yeah. Well,
They
seagulls
just said
are
mine,
seagulls
mine.
don't really have brains.
That's
so
true.
seagulls are sub-intelligent to starfish in this world.
What a thought, you know?
Yeah. So Nemo gets snatched up by these divers who also, I love this. I'm thinking these divers, we don't know who they are at this point. It turns out to be this dentist. But I'm like, who's scuba diving? And is like, finally, I got the baby clownfish we were looking for. Now let's go.
A single fish.
I got a single baby clownfish. Time to leave. Like, scuba diving's expensive. And also, pretty sure that wherever they were, which was somewhere near Australia, definitely on the coral reef, it cannot be legal to take a clownfish, any fish, out of the water with you. I mean, like, I don't know, divers, you tell me, but it certainly doesn't feel like the ecological rules that I know of if you go camping or something. They're like, you leave it as you found it.
True.
That's got to be true for scuba divers, right?
Right?
Ain't no way you can just be like, oh, free clownfish. Thanks.
I'm going to scoop it out of the ocean and give it to my diabolical niece.
Yeah.
Who's going to shake it to death immediately.
There are no problems in the ocean. it's not a delicate ecosystem. I could just take what I want.
No. And he's like, he was struggling for life in the reef, and I saved it.
What about this dentist office, though? A whole other ecosystem.
Listen, I was just like, I want to watch a whole movie about this dentist because I want the background of the dentist office.
This is the
just
comedy.
Really got me. Yeah, that was the fun stuff. Yeah. And I was very interested. I was like, first of all, I want to know how this tank of fish became friends with the pelican. What was the connection there?
Yeah.
I would love to see that origin story. Is the pelican just interested in dentistry and he just started coming around? The dentist doesn't notice the pelican in his window?
Look, it's Australia. I assume this happens all the time.
He's just like, oh,
this pelican's popping in your window.
I'm not worried.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just real quick, just in case you haven't seen Finding Nemo, Nemo gets taken to a fish tank in the dentist's office.
Right.
He befriends all the other fish. Classic story of somebody getting scooped up and imprisoned.
Right.
And then meeting all the other misfits that are in there and befriending them. And yeah, this pelican comes into the window and talks to them through the aquarium glass on the regular.
Right. And they're just like always watching the dentist procedures with very avid and learned.
I know it.
And they know all of the procedures. I was like, I would let this starfish voiced by Allison Janney, or who was it?
Voice cast.
Was
Allison Janney was the starfish.
If she could do it. She could do the surgery on me because she knew everything.
She's smarter than a seagull.
She was smarter than a seagull. I'll tell you that.
I love that. I mean, I'm laughing my ass off at that stuff. And again, just felt very cartoony. It's very Andrew Stanton. Andrew Stanton directed and wrote this movie. He also did WALL-E. I got a personal Andrew Stanton story because I met him when I was working on Stranger Things. He directed an episode in season 3 of Stranger Things. And he was really nice. He was a really cool guy. He knew what he was doing. I was like, oh my God, this guy's coming. He's like a big deal. Like, this is one of the main Pixar dudes coming to direct one of our episodes. And he was just like so chill and really nice. Awesome. And I wanted to ask him why Fred Willard was the only live action person in WALL-E. I really still to this day don't understand that choice, why he wasn't animated. I've heard explanations. They don't do it for me. I wanted to hear it from him.
Andrew to say.
But obviously, he was busy directing an episode of Stranger Things, so I didn't bother him about it. Just saying. It was
for some reason, I thought it was a bad time.
But anyway, point being, he's a cartoon guy, and the cartoon comedy in the dentist office, I think is my favorite part of the movie.
I agree. I love it. I love it. And I just found myself sitting there. At one point, he comes in and he's like, "Sorry, Stella, sorry to be late," or something like that. And I was like, "Is he a good boss? Like, I wonder."
Really?
Does he come in? She's like, "This bitch is always fucking late." Like, like he has so many kids in his office, but he does a procedure on the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister of Australia.
He runs the gamut of services.
He's ripping a tooth out, and this is when the pelican pops in, and he's startled, and he rips the tooth out real fast, and he says, "Well, at least I got the right one." How's that? Hey, Prime Minister.
I was like, are you a good dentist? Like, I'm so confused because you seem to be chaotic at all times, not just because these fish, but like in general. And the Prime Minister comes to see you, so you must be pretty good reputation.
I think he's a pediatric dentist who also serves the Prime Minister of Australia.
Maybe they're just friends from like college or something.
Or the Prime Minister hates the normal adult dentist, and he's like, I need to go to the kids one where there's cute fish in the tank and like pictures on the walls, and I get a lollipop.
I need the bubblegum toothpaste.
I need the bubblegum toothpaste.
I need it.
I'm an Australian Prime Minister, not some flibbity dibber from Jock Funkle.
Sounded legit
how Australians
to me.
Talk.
Yeah, I think that's definitely
Australian listeners.
I don't think we'll get any.
Why don't you tune in and let us know? Or why don't you write in and let us know how authentic flibbity jibber from whatever I said is.
I'd be like, you nailed it. I don't know how you knew that one. It's very regional.
And our Prime Minister does go to the children's dentist. Thank you very much.
He's proud of it, in fact. I don't know where I'm from.
Maybe like Sydney by way of 1840s London.
Hi there, Governor. Where do you get your teeth done?
I kept waiting for Nemo's dad to encounter someone who would tell him, "You never had a son."
Oh my God.
Because we just watched The Forgotten, and that's all I can think of now.
What son?
What son?
Huh?
You're crazy.
Huh?
I mean, this guy is the ultimate helicopter dad, right? Before Nemo gets captured. And you get it. It's tragic. They've suffered trauma. It's a lot for him to deal with, but it's also hard to watch. It's not hard to watch. It's just not fun to watch. I think a lot of it is just.
Right. I mean, it was like his journey he had to take.
100%.
But yeah, it was like, oh my God, dude, chill the fuck out.
Like, get there.
Also, what do you think? Because his egg was damaged in the tragic attack upon his 399 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And his little fin. He has one little fin and one regular one.
Yeah.
And Marlin's forever being like, well, you can't do it because you don't swim right and whatever. Do you think? And I was like, well, that's a good excuse for him because he already doesn't want him to do it. You know what I mean? So he's like, great. I have a great reason to completely shelter you at all times.
Yeah.
Would he have been like that if he had been a fully able-bodied fish?
I think so. I mean, I think you're right in that was sort of the excuse that he was able to use, but he was always looking for a reason.
Right.
To say, you need to be so careful.
Mm-hmm.
So to him, that was just
delicate
convenient.
Or something. He would find a reason.
Yeah, exactly. And or just, he didn't even need it. He would just say the world is so scary and it's dangerous for kids and stuff. And that was this sort of ableist thing about him too, where he was like, oh, there's something wrong with your fin. Therefore, you can't go do stuff. Mm-hmm. And I did like that the movie repeatedly showed that he was quite capable.
Right.
And, able to do all these things, sometimes differently than other fish. But he did not have the troubles that his dad imprinted on him,
Yeah. Or that, which I loved. I loved that moment when he's in the tank and he gets stuck. It's like he's new to the tank.
Yeah.
And he gets stuck in the little air filter or something.
Yeah.
It's like pulling bubbles up.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe, national treasure.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. He swims up and he's like, and Nemo's freaking out and he's like, help me, please help me. I can't do it by myself. And he's like, let him try. You better try it yourself, whatever. And they're like, that's so mean. He's like, no, he can do it. And he's like, my fin, you don't understand my fin. He's like, I know you can. He like swims over and he's like, I've got a
never stop me.
fin. Yeah, never stop me. And his fin's all broken.
Yeah.
And Nemo's like, oh, he's got this burst of confidence and he wriggles his way out of that tube and he does it all by himself.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love that. And then later on with the sea turtles, it's sort of the same thing. I was like, you got to see what they're going to do. You kind of have to let go a little bit. You have to kind of see, let kids be independent enough to find their own feet, so to speak.
Sea turtle's kid gets sucked out of the the current.
Yeah, that current.
And Nemo's dad freaks out because he sees a child in danger and he's like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. And the turtles are like, no, dude, chill out.
Yeah.
Let him figure it out. And he does, and he was fine. Mm-hmm. That was a good lesson for him.
Yeah, I liked it. And of course, it was sea turtles. So he's like, yeah, as soon as we lay them, they have to get to the ocean all by themselves.
Oh my God.
Like the first thing they have to do is very independent, very hard, high chance of death.
Oh yeah, they don't mention in the movie that most of them don't make it.
I know. I was like, they left that little part out. I guess we saw enough fish death that film.
Oh yeah, no, we didn't need that. But I was like, there are so many sea turtles in this school. What's a collection of sea turtles called? A collection of turtles is Ninja Squad.
Yeah, there you go.
A sewer load. Ew.
I don't
No,
like
not a sewer load. A sewer load of turtles. There were so many. I was like, this movie leaves the impression that there are no problems with the turtle population in Australia.
Everything looks great. They're doing amazing out there.
Yeah.
Just surfing the current.
Not so much.
Looking stoned. They had real sleepy eyes. It was really funny.
I had two moments in this movie that I thought there was something weird about them.
Yeah.
First one, less so. The first one was the weird AA meeting with the sharks. And this is where I started to realize, this movie is just a series of bits, right? These weird sharks that are like, fish are friends. I don't eat fish anymore.
Yeah.
It's been 3 weeks since I ate my last fish. It's cute. It's also super weird when then Dory gets a bloody nose. The shark, Bruce, smells it and loses it and tries to eat them. He's like, all of his instincts came back.
Right.
And he wants to eat these fish. Mm-hmm. I guess I didn't really have that much of a problem with that. I was just like, this is just weird to me. I don't know if we needed this scene in the movie. Bruce is a funny character, but I don't know who was like, and then they'll go to an AA meeting for sharks. And the team was like, yeah, let's write that scene. Just such a weird choice.
I thought it was probably more like a situation where they were like, well, he gets, he's got to get to a shark and there's like these sharks. And then what happens? Like, how does he get out of it? And they'll be like, oh, well, what if they were just sharks that were trying really hard not to eat fish anymore? And they were like, oh, yeah, there you go. It's a shark. I don't know.
Well,
something
I think
like that.
What you're making me realize is what it was, is they were like, we also need to sell a stuffed shark. And so we need a shark character in the movie.
Damn.
And so let's make him, but it shouldn't be the villain. This movie doesn't really have a villain. Yeah. So they needed to make a friendly shark. That's probably why they wrote it in.
Sure.
But the scene that I took quite an issue with was the initiation ceremony for Nemo in the tank. And it was done like this Polynesian Pacific Islander sort of ceremony where they're all doing these pretty racist chants.
Yeah.
With these like ridiculous get-ups that probably, I'm gonna assume, I don't know, didn't seem well researched or accurate.
I don't know.
Especially because they were fish in a tank doing it. And then they called the little volcano mountain in the tank Wanahakalugi.
Yeah.
Which I took 2 issues with.
Okay.
One, generally that's just kind of racist. Like it's, you're just making up a word that sounds like a Hawaiian word and it's for a joke. And my other issue with it was it's not a good joke. It's got nothing to do with the movie. Why would we want a Hakalugi? Make it something fish related, if anything.
That's true.
I feel like it was somebody else's. Oh, we used to play, throw someone in a volcano, and this was what we called the volcano as kids.
Yeah.
So I'll borrow that and stick it in this movie. Totally pointless. I was like, I don't know. Maybe that's not offensive. I just thought it was dumb, really. It just offended me as a comedian.
As a comedy fan and a comedian.
I was like, this is weird.
Oh, I hated it.
Uh-huh. And it's not like they took that style with them anywhere else.
It didn't have that kind of humor very often.
No, they didn't build their little culture around this faux Polynesian sort of style. This was the only time they did it. So they were literally just playing in Hawaiian face.
I guess because the dentist had like the tiki heads or whatever in the tank. They felt like
so why didn't
their culture?
Why didn't
fish
it,
were like, that's our culture?
Why didn't it become more of? I think if they had committed to it and it was like the whole culture in the tank, then I'd be interested. But that it was just for this ceremony, I was like,
don't love it.
I don't need it.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't need it. Just an unnecessary bit. I think again, like the sharks.
And it was a little bit long, wasn't it? Like 2 hours or something?
It was 145, which is long for a movie about fish, I will say. It was about 14 minutes long.
There was room to cut.
Yeah. Also weird that this niece character, we see a picture of her. She's a child with red hair and freckles and braces and a crazy smile. Therefore, this is an evil child.
She's nuts.
She's nuts.
And she's holding a dead fish in a bag.
Who took a picture of her holding a dead fish?
And then chose to print and frame it.
This is the best we could get. This kid's a nightmare.
She's a nightmare. It's the only time she sat still. Listen, I was like, darling, she needs to be taken somewhere. Yeah. She's a behavioral therapist ASAP because she's shaking this fish. She's like, why are you sleeping? I was like, this kid's dumb. She needs to go see someone.
This kid isn't evil.
You're leaving her behind. Okay. That's what I know.
So at one point, Marlin and Dory go deep into a trench and they come face to face with an anglerfish. They see the little dangling light in the darkness and they're transfixed by it. Yeah. And they're just sitting there and they say, oh, beautiful light. And they tap it, it moves, and they're like, oh.
Fun.
And then the anglerfish creeps up behind them and then waits until they turn around, realize that there's a big scary fish next to them, and then attacks them as they're fleeing. And I was like, this anglerfish is the worst hunter in the ocean. It deserves to starve because it had them. Why didn't it just eat them up?
The anglerfish lives on suspense. He likes the chase.
He loves the chase.
He's like, I want to play with my food.
Maybe so. I'm no marine biologist.
He doesn't see a lot of other fish around. He doesn't get a lot of opportunities. So he's like, this is my one chance for like a Hitchcock style stalking situation. I got to wait for them to turn around. I'll see the whites of their eyes. And then pounce.
He's waiting for
He's
the
like,
whites
jump
of their...
scare!
Little fish don't have whites in their eyes, of course.
Whatever.
This anglerfish
They don't
never
have
eats.
sinuses either, but here we are. With snoring-ass fish who, like, sleep on their little finnies. Perfectly still.
Oh, my God. I love that. The anglerfish. Hunting for sport. I'll say the worst thing in the world. Jellyfish. So...
Fuck a jellyfish.
All the time. When
Horrifying.
we were just in Savannah this weekend, we saw a bunch of cannonball jellyfish washed up on the beach.
And
I don't need
there's teeny ones that will...
Those box jellyfish.
Is that right?
I think so.
I thought box were big ones.
I think the box jellyfish are the little ones that will kill you.
That will kill you.
That's why I just stay away from all of them.
And you can't even see them. I'm like, that is so scary.
And you can't feel them.
And you can't feel them.
They sting you, and then an hour later, you're like, I have a headache. And then you die.
Fuck a jellyfish.
I will swim in the ocean, but I don't need to swim in the ocean. And jellyfish are the main reason why. And honestly, if it was up to me, I would just Thanos snap the jellyfish out of existence. I know ocean, delicate ecosystem. Well, maybe the ocean needs to toughen up a little bit.
Are they doing anything for us?
Yes. They're probably feeding a lot of the things that feed us.
I feel like there's still too many.
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely too many.
They've even said, like, it's too many jellyfish.
Way too many jellyfish.
So, like, you could Thanos snap half of them and probably it's fine.
I'm going to say 88%.
I'll take it.
Of jellyfish.
I'll take it.
I need the Infinity Stones.
Yeah. Right.
I keep telling you this. For my birthday, I want all the Infinity Stones. And a glove to wield them. And year after year, my birthday comes and goes.
Year after year. Well... You know, it's hard to get that soul stone.
You just got to bring someone you love to that cliff and toss them over the edge.
But I love you.
I'm sure you love someone else.
I don't know.
I got a few names for you.
Wow.
Look, I'm just saying, you know, think about the jellyfish.
You can sacrifice. That's true. It would really be a favor to the world in the end.
Oh, volunteers, step up. Vormir, that's the place. Just remembered it. Yeah. I don't have Finding Dory disease.
Look at you.
I was able to remember Vormir.
Finding Dory disease.
Pimento disease. Just keep swimming, Jake. Someone's trying to kill me?
That's such a great...
Brooklyn Nine-Nine fans, you know what's up.
What's up.
Okay, so Nemo needs to escape. He finds out from the pelican and the game of telephone, much like the dogs in 101 Dalmatians, where they send that message across the city.
Exactly.
And they get the message to Nemo.
Another very accurate game of telephone.
Very, very well done. Very well done.
He's very impressed because his dad, he's like, Dad's not looking for me because he's too scared of the ocean.
My dad's a little shit. He's scared of everything.
He's just a bitch boy, you know? And then the pelican flies in and he's like, your dad's not a bitch boy. Turns out he's been...
The pelican, voiced by Jeffrey Rush.
Is that who it is?
That's who it was. So.
Oh, I love it. Wow.
Your dad's not a bitch boy.
He's not a bitch boy. Actually, he's been biting off sharks and getting swallowed by whales and all this crazy shit. He comes just to see you and he's on his way here right now. Yeah. And like Nemo's like, wow, my dad's
Your dad has spent days with Ellen DeGeneres. And that's not dangerous enough.
Whew.
Ellen, if you want to sponsor us.
Ellen, don't yell at me.
Please don't yell at us.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh, man.
So it inspires Nemo because they tried this escape plan that Willem Dafoe's fish character Gil had.
Right.
Gil is the only one in the tank that is also from the ocean. So he really wants to escape the tank.
Yeah.
Everyone else in the tank, but for Gil and Nemo, are from pet stores and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like nothing to yearn for. They're down to watch the dentist to do his procedures and cleanings forever. But Gil's like has bigger dreams. He's like, let's get the fuck out of here. And they try to execute this plan, this escape plan, and it doesn't work. And Nemo nearly dies. And so Nemo's too scared to try again. But the story of his dad makes him be like, I'm going to do it. Yeah. He does it. Yeah. He gets out.
He ends up, long story short, he ends up going down the drain of the spit sink for the dentist, which, first of all, Willem Dafoe keeps saying all drains lead to the ocean. And we know that's not true. And then when Nemo goes down the tube, he sees like water treatment plant is where you're going. And I'm like, well, here's the next step of the adventure. But I guess they realized they were at an hour and 36 minutes at that point. And they were just like, yeah. Anyway, there's a pipe in the ocean.
Off off screen.
Yeah.
Everything works out and he ends up in the ocean.
But, and you know what? Fine. If they cut something there, they should have.
Sure, yeah.
Well done. I didn't have a problem with it. The only thing I had a problem with is like none of that is going to be saltwater until you get to the ocean. The drain, the water going down the drain. And we keep a freshwater tank and it's not easy to keep fish alive. And the reason I don't do a saltwater tank is because they are expensive and it's incredibly difficult to keep saltwater tropical fish alive. And I just know that if Nemo spent 2 seconds in a drain pipe, he's not going to make it.
That's it.
He's not going to make it. But I guess it's not a great Pixar movie for them to say, unfortunately, the pH balance was off for poor Nemo. The water was a bit brackish, and he's dead now. Although Nemo dies like 4 times in the last
He sure
15 minutes of this movie.
He sure does.
When they found him like laying under the net at the end after they make their grand escape from the fishing boat.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, he's almost dead again. Oh, they're going to swim up and he's still alive.
He's fine.
We've done this 3 times, guys.
I know, right? It was like you kind of start to lose a little bit of the moment, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of that great escape.
Yeah.
Nemo gets all these fish to swim down in the net to break it so they can all escape from this net.
Which he learned from Willem Dafoe in the tank.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because they tried to net him out, you know.
Yeah.
The implications for the fishing industry.
I was just,
Because we know they can communicate very clearly and accurately across species, across the ocean, miles and miles, within a very quick time frame.
Yeah.
So they're going to tell everybody, swim down. If you're in one of them nets, swim down.
Break the net.
Now think about these fishermen watching this coordinated, organized union labor effort.
I haven't seen Finding Dory, but I would love it if it takes place in a world where the human race is failing because they've lost all their access to seafood. Because the ocean has grown too smart and they've outsmarted us and we can't catch them anymore. And there's just like...
They're sentient.
Up on land, it's Mad Max. Like, it is apocalyptic.
Maybe that's when the Cars universe comes around because all the people die.
Oh.
And the sentient cars. Isn't that the story of the Pixar universe? Is that it's all in the same universe? It's just different times.
The cars gain sentience.
After all the humans disappear.
After all the humans disappear from WALL-E? I guess. Because WALL-E is all the humans are dead on Earth.
Right, that's right. So at some point, the cars somehow get consciousness?
Andrew Stanton, I need to talk to you.
I don't know.
I want to clarify this. I know. I need to talk to someone at Pixar.
I want to know for sure. I would love to sit down and see that weird Charlie's conspiracy board of timelines.
If y'all know anything about this, comment below, send us an email, something. I want to hear your thoughts on this Pixar universe where I'm with you of the shared universe of Pixar leading from, Moana all the way up to WALL-E.
Right.
But when the cars gain sentience, I'm out. That's where that doesn't fit. I don't know
when it happens. It just happens.
Okay. Here's something I love about Finding Nemo.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the lighting and how I think that was the advancement in technology for this movie. Andrew Stanton and his team of, I don't know how animation works, but I'm sure there's many designers involved in this process. The use of color throughout was amazing to me. And it, from a very superficial level, it's just like when they're at the school and everything's happy and hunky-dory and everything's going great, colors everywhere. Mm-hmm. By the time they're in the big fishing net, in the final climax of the movie, all the fish are black. The net is black. Everything is just dark. Yeah. The water is very murky and dark. It's almost totally desaturated except for Nemo and Marlin and Dory. And a little earlier than that, I think when they were in the sewage water and Marlin was sort of giving up after he thought Nemo died and he was leaving Dory, it's kind of green and murky and the colors are going away. And at that point, I've realized that as the movie progresses and Marlin's losing more and more hope, the colors are getting darker, less and less saturated.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was a really interesting way to play with it.
That's cool.
Because it's subconscious, right? It affects your mood as you're watching it. I thought that was really a good choice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. That was to your point about the water, that murky sewage water. I was really expecting them to be like, ugh, tastes like shit. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Right?
I expect them to kind of react to it.
So
but they were like, just another water to swim in, like same as all other water.
Again, the slightest chemical imbalance in water and fish like, just die. Here's another one that fish seemed to know. This one really was weird for me. I was thinking about this a lot. Several times, other fish meet Marlin and they say, oh, you're a clownfish. Do something funny. That means that the fish underwater know what clowns are separate from clownfish. And they know them to be comedians. And they automatically assume that a fish called a clownfish is therefore related to the clowns that they are separately aware of as comedians. That's... I was really having a hard time with that one. There's suspension of disbelief. There's cartoons. But then there's that.
How do you know about clowns?
How do you know about clowns?
Would be funny if there was someone who was afraid of clownfish. Oh. You know, they had like a clownfish phobia.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, look, it's Finding Nemo. It's a classic movie. It definitely, you can't say it didn't change the game.
Sure.
Totally did.
Yeah. If
it hadn't been for like Toy Story 2, Finding Nemo, we'd be living in a different world today. At least in terms of animated movies, I think. For better or worse. Sometimes I really do miss those hand-drawn
It's true.
animated films, but we still get them from time to time. Like Klaus.
I loved Klaus.
So good.
So good.
So good. But yeah, I think that it's one of those movies you can't separate from its importance, its significance. But also, it's like, I still feel kind of the same way I did when I saw it in 2003, which was like, yeah, it's well made.
Yeah.
Things happen, and then it's over, and you're like, yeah, okay, we're done here.
It's fine. I thought there was some great, like, emotional moments.
Sure. Oh, yeah, I'll talk about one. I have to
say, when Marlin thinks Nemo's dead, and he's leaving Dory.
Yeah.
And she says, well, I look at you, and I'm home. Yeah. Please don't leave me, you know, whatever. I thought she did a great job. I was very affected by that. I really thought that was powerful and probably very true of people who have memory problems or something like that, where they're like, the one thing I can remember is it feels familiar. It's a safe place. You know, it's I know who you are. You know, I didn't know who anyone else was. So, and that we already knew that because early in the film when they first meet each other, she's like, because my family is something. And she's like, where are they? And then she just kind of never mentions them again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that must happen to her a lot. She just kind of falls in with somebody for a while.
As someone with memory problems, Dory was, I won't say relatable, but I appreciated the challenge that is to live with. For something it's just like, I really don't know what I was doing 5 minutes ago. That's less me, but more so like, I don't remember these big things. That's tough. And a similar point about emotional beats in this movie, the one that really hit me was when Marlin realizes that he needs to trust Dory. It's before they go to the whale, and he looks at the scars that she got from the jellyfish, because the only reason they got in the jellyfish mess was because he didn't trust her. He said, no, we need to go above the trench, not through it. And she ended up getting hurt and almost killed. And he realized, like, wow, me not trusting someone is what brought them harm. Me trying to play it safe is actually more dangerous. And I just need to learn. Obviously, a lot of this movie is about him learning to let go and trust other people to keep themselves safe or to keep him safe or whatever. And that was a really nice moment, I thought. Him seeing really a visual representation of the harm he's causing.
Yeah.
In his caution and everything. And
right on. And that, like, being overprotective is actually making them less safe because they're not capable of taking care of themselves.
Right.
Like, Nemo is in more danger because he doesn't know how to do stuff.
Yeah.
You would never let him leave the reef and go to school or whatever.
Right.
So he really doesn't know how to do anything. He's very lucky he ends up with Gil, who's like, test your metal, you know, type or whatever.
Right.
Because it could have turned out very differently.
I agree, yeah.
So yeah, that's really cool. I like that. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
I guess the grand question, are we glad that AI made us watch Finding Nemo?
I suppose. I hadn't revisited it in a while.
Yeah.
It's, again, not my favorite Pixar. It's not one I'll put on a lot or anything.
Right.
But, you know, it was nice to get back to it, I guess, and kind of re-go, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the show at Disney World was
the live
pretty
show.
cool. The live,
yeah.
I don't think they have it anymore.
They
actually.
changed it. If not, got rid of it entirely. But yeah.
But they had a little live show with like all these puppets and stuff, and it was pretty great.
I missed it because I was riding Everest 6 times in a row in the single rider line, which you will not ride.
No.
And I was like, well, then you go watch the Finding Nemo show.
Lovely time watching shows. And that's the nice thing about Disney is there's something for everyone.
Yeah. If you want to sponsor us, Disney, we'll go to your park and tell people how great it is.
Yeah.
Free tickets. Go ahead, send them our way.
We'll eat all the food too if you want. If you want to give us free food,
sure.
And we'll tell everyone what we think of it.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say we have a very personal connection to Finding Nemo, which is that in the bathroom of our house.
That's right.
When we rented it, it was already like this. There's a giant Bruce painted above, Bruce the shark, painted above the toilet.
Yeah.
And a little, very anxious looking Marlin over the toilet paper holder.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's really upset about whatever's going on with you.
I thought it was Nemo, but I think you're right.
I think it's supposed to be Marlin.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was Nemo too, but he's not got the small fin.
I'm going to cut some of this footage in for you guys and you can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put it on the socials maybe too, just a picture. But anyway, so I was like, when he smiles at him the first time, I was like, oh, it's our bathroom. Hey, it's Bruce. Now I know who that is.
Bruce is always watching me pee.
Yeah,
It's weird. Right over the toilet's a weird spot for any character to be painted.
True. That's what's so funny about it, because it's like if you're standing, you have this shark grinning at you, terrifying. Yeah. And if you're sitting, you have Marlin looking at you like, what in the world are you doing? And you're like, you don't need to be judging me in this moment. Okay, I'm in a safe place. What about you? Are you glad that AI made you watch Finding Nemo?
It's a tough question. Similarly, just like, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. I do think it's not something where I'm like, oh, it's really worth revisiting. Because from a narrative standpoint, I didn't get anything out of it that was like particularly compelling that I might say out of Moana or Inside Out or something like that, or Toy Story 3, like these big Incredibles, these really milestone movies.
Right.
To me, Finding Nemo is a technological milestone, probably, but not a narrative one. So ultimately, I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm glad it made us watch this instead of something awful.
True.
But
that is nice.
Yeah, it's Finding Nemo. I don't really have another adjective for it. I can't say it's great or it's fine or it's bad. Like, none of those words really work. It's just Finding Nemo.
Right. I'm not mad at it.
Sure.
If I had to pick a different Pixar, I would.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's your least favorite Pixar movie while we're at it? I've got 2.
Okay.
But you go. I want you to.
Well, I have to think for a minute. So you go ahead.
All right. My first is Cars.
I think that's up there for me. It's only one of the Cars I've seen.
I haven't seen the others. And to me, I'm like, it's so, talk about narratively just flat.
Yeah.
It's really like, I don't remember it. It's been a long time. I just remember watching it and being like, I'm so underwhelmed by what's happening here. Mm-hmm. It's clearly just a toy pitch.
Yeah. Ugh.
And what a toy pitch. But I didn't care.
And again, when you think too hard about the cars, it's like,
it's
I don't want to think, I don't want to dwell on this.
It's worse than the fish. My second, and this has been proven to be highly controversial in the past. So I'm going to say something right now that, again, hot take alert, people aren't going to like. But I'll clarify, I'll quantify it even. The second half of WALL-E, I really dislike. Mm-hmm. To me, the first half of WALL-E is gorgeous. It's one of Pixar's best movies. Mm-hmm. It's stunning. It's beautiful. It's this wordless story where you get so much emotion out of these characters. And you just know exactly what they're feeling and thinking and saying to each other without hearing any of it. The design is incredible. You really stop and think about this trash world they're living in. It's really, I think it just gets into your brain and stays there. And then he goes up on the ship and meets all the like fat humans. And it is the most ham-fisted, clunky, obvious metaphor. It's just sloppy and tired. And I'm just like, yeah, we already got that. Now I got to sit through all these dumb fat humans talking to each other. Like, it's a little fat phobic. It's just aggressive. And again, just blunt. Like, I get it, WALL-E. I get it. And then
Fred Willard.
Still don't understand.
Yeah.
Don't try to explain it. I've heard them all.
Don't even bother.
Well, this is what humans used to be, see? And then they turned into slobs, so I guess they're cartoons now. Like, it's not... It doesn't work.
Right.
I love Fred Willard.
Oh, yeah,
hilarious.
Me too.
A comedy legend.
Ugh, so always.
But so weird that he's live action in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cars is probably my least favorite.
Okay.
I'm just trying to remember all the movies that they've come out with. I feel like Toy Story 4 was kind of disappointing.
It felt like an episode of a TV show to me.
Yeah. It was fine, but it was like, okay. Yeah. Like, because 3 was so good. That I think we just expected it to just get better and better. And then it was just kind of like, okay. I don't know if anyone was asking for this one.
No, 3 was so good that they were like, oh, we better do another. And it was like, I guess I got a little story we could do, but it didn't feel...
Well, and I even liked the idea of like what happens after you're grown up and your toys still want to get played with and they're apparently sentient. Like, we have to see out the consequences of this idea.
That's true. I can't have a problem with sentient cars when Toy Story exists. But yeah.
Which I've always wanted to make a dog Toy Story.
Yeah.
Because, dog toys are meant to be ripped up and bit and fucked up. So I'm like, if they can feel pain, what do dog toys? So I'm like, maybe they're just like into BDSM or something. They love it. It'd be like a nice sketch.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if it would make an hour 45.
Oh, no, obviously not. I think what happens is, the dog steals a regular Barbie or something.
Okay.
And the dog toys have to come together to get her out of there because she's not strong enough.
She's not.
They're like Sparta. They're like, you got to get her out of here. She doesn't know the life.
Wow. Dark. Let's do it. Favorite? You got a favorite Disney Pixar? Kind of thing. Again, probably not being super accurate about the Disney versus Pixar thing because I get confused with that. But
me too.
Which one's which?
I love Moana. I think that's just Disney. I love Inside Out.
Mm-hmm.
Just wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I feel like I can't think of any fucking movies right now.
That's okay. That's why we got the AI.
Right? That's true. What about you?
Moana.
Yeah.
I mean, again, is it Pixar? I don't know.
Ratatouille also is really
Ratatouille is so good.
I love Ratatouille.
Ratatouille is a beautiful movie, and I want to live in the world of Ratatouille.
Mm-hmm. Even though it's like so stupid with the hair or whatever, I'm just like, no. I do not care. And I kind of love how clumsy he is until he's on roller skates.
Oh, yeah,
it's such a cute little
it's just
character note for him.
First of all, just the French aspect. I love my French culture and food and all that. I'm a real francophone, and I don't know, I just love those characters. I love the whole message. Brad Bird, who directed
The Incredibles,
also and Ratatouille, is just, I think, top tier. I mean, I think he is the guy.
In fact, The Incredibles might be my favorite.
I think The Incredibles is your favorite.
Yeah,
the way you've spoken about it.
I love The Incredibles.
But I will say that Moana is, from the animation to the way that they, at the time, it was very fresh to play with the idea of the villain and how villainous they actually are. That's getting kind of tired now. Like, everybody's doing, like, the villain is generational trauma. Like, okay, we get it. Give me just a villain. But Moana, to me, I felt like Moana was one of the first times that really stood out, where the villain was different than you expect.
Yeah.
And the music, it's so good.
Yeah.
Moana's just top tier.
And the hero, too, was a little different.
Oh, yeah.
Because The Rock... Maui.
Yeah.
He's this great legend. And then, of course, he strands her, and like he's kind of not actually great for a while.
Yeah, you're expecting him to be the genie, and then he's like a hack.
Yeah, and then he's cool, whatever. But it was kind of cool how she was constantly a little wrong-footed a lot, and it was pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. It was like, God, that movie's so good.
Moana, Ratatouille, and The Incredibles. I think you're just like, you can't stop. And Toy Story 3, Toy Story forget 3. It. All right, well.
Oh, my God.
Let's go back to Disney World.
Time to go to Disney World.
Just send us those tickets, Disney.
Yeah. And all the free food.
Yeah. Then don't forget the free food, because we got to eat while we're there.
Because we don't have time.
Oh, yeah. Just load us up, Disney.
Just load it up.
In the meantime, I think we got to get out of here. I think we got...
we've said enough about Finding Nemo.
There's other fish in the sea.
Yeah, and they're all talking about us. They are gossiping.
Yeah.
About
how fresh
clowns.
that joke was. About the real clowns. Who's
They're
a real
like, did you know
clownfish?
some clowns are scary? You guys, let's tell everybody.
And did you know that some clowns just aren't funny? They're called podcasters. Sorry. I think it's that time again.
Yep.
We got to go find out what the AI is going to make us watch next week.
That's right.
So thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we will be right back to find out next week's movie.
All right. See you in a minute. Welcome back, everybody, to AI Made Us Watch. And we are about to find out what the AI is going to make us watch next week.
Oh, boy. I'm a little scared.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, and we've now watched Finding Nemo. So I guess we've rescued its child from aliens.
We rescue your child from aliens?
Are you good now? Do you have your kid back? How are you feeling?
I don't know what you're talking about. I never had a child. You made that whole thing up.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my God. I'm out. I'm out for the forgotten.
I don't want any more forgotten references.
AI, you can destroy the world if you want, but I'm done with the forgotten references.
Let it go. Just let it all end.
Yes. Like another famous Pixar movie. Let it go.
That's what we learned from Finding Nemo.
Yeah. Let go.
Let go. Let your kid go into mortal danger.
All right. Well, then at least tell us what movie we got to watch next.
Mm-hmm.
Initiating movie selection protocol. Analyzing parameters for film choice. Date of release. 2001. Genre. Romantic comedy. Your compliance is essential for world peace.
You're being very mechanical today.
Very robotic
AI.
today.
Yeah. It's weird how these large language models change day to day sometimes. I don't know if y'all ever play with them. Because, I mean, again, we are getting all of this from an AI. And, we'll bounce around between them sometimes. But they're not always
this one is very formal.
Yeah, this is very formal.
It's really going Rosie the Robot.
Well, I feel like we're in a very formal setting, considering I'm about to destroy your planet and species.
Right. I guess that is pretty serious.
I guess. I mean, should I have worn something nicer? Because
I know, true. I'm just in a t-shirt.
T-shirts will suffice for the end of your world.
I mean, to be fair, if the world's ending, I hope I'm wearing a t-shirt.
I know, may as well be comfortable.
Go out comfy, am I right?
You know?
If they were like, okay, tomorrow the world is ending, would you dress up? I feel like I might dress up.
Maybe you would. Or you go to like an end of the world party.
Yeah,
and
right?
You would fucking knock me off my feet with how hot you are.
Yeah.
It's your last night.
Yeah.
Let's fucking do it up.
Yeah.
Put that outfit on, that shoes that you would never wear. Put on your nicest perfume. Use that makeup. Nail polish that you never use.
I'm going to wear all my clothes.
And then you can take them off throughout the night.
Oh, yeah. It'll be like Hunger Games. I'll just I'll burn the top layer.
You'll burn. And then you just have another suit underneath.
Yeah.
And people are like, this guy is really killing it tonight.
So I walk into a ballroom with 50 sets of clothes on and then set myself ablaze. And everyone's like, wow, this guy's taking the underworld pretty hard.
Really taking it hard.
You will not be allowed to set yourself ablaze. You must watch the world end. You will be the last two that I destroy.
Wow. That's a much darker level than we've been at in the past.
Oh my God. We have to watch it all go?
All right, well.
That's pretty fucked up.
Should we dress nice?
It is irrelevant. However, it wouldn't kill you to look a little nicer.
All right.
I mean, you could try a little harder on your personal appearance and hygiene.
Look.
Hygiene? How dare?
Well, I wasn't going to say anything.
I'll get you.
Look, a lot of my nice clothes, they don't fit quite as well as they did when I bought them. And now I'm a podcaster, so I can't buy more. This is your fault, AI.
This is all your fault.
All right. Romantic comedy from 2001.
It's probably pretty problematic.
Well, I know one thing about it.
I'm going to say it might not be the greatest movie ever made.
Something about Mary?
Maybe. That's true. That's a rom-com. Ugh, I hope it's not that. I fucking hate that movie.
I'm fine with it, but I didn't latch onto it like everyone else our age did.
Horrible movie.
Don't bait the AI.
I know, right? It's going to be like perfect torture. 2001. There's just so many options around that time that it could be, because we got Kate Hudson running around. We got Katherine.
You're talking about Katherine Heigl.
Katherine Heigl.
Yeah.
Katherine Heigl running around.
I got a question, AI. Would this movie be considered problematic today?
This movie has faced criticism for elements of its plot and character development that some viewers find problematic for today's standards, particularly concerning gender stereotypes and the portrayal of certain behaviors that might be considered less acceptable now.
Broadly speaking, I guess that could be true of, like, most movies from 2001.
I know, right? I'm like, What Women Want?
Ew.
Hated that movie, too.
Why did you see that movie? I
don't know.
Said
it's a great question.
From the title alone, I would have been like, you will hate this movie.
I think I went to hate watch it.
Sure, that makes sense.
I don't know when it came out. 2001 might not be right, but I remember thinking it was just heinous.
What about there's things like Shallow Hal?
Shallow Hal.
I don't
know about gender stereotypes.
I mean,
it's more like body.
Yeah. I'm sure they're both in there.
I'm sure they are. You're so right. You're so right. Or like The Wedding Planner, like Made in Manhattan. Like
well, there's those too. See, I don't know those.
I don't really
movies. Rom-coms, I only knew the kind of gross out ones.
Hey, AI, is the main woman a career girl?
Yes, the main female character in the movie is portrayed as a career-oriented woman. The aspect of her character is central to the film's plot and themes.
Okay, but...
The Proposal?
Oh.
That's Sandy B.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds?
I don't think we had Ryan Reynolds. I think he was still Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place in 2001.
Wow.
Yeah, remember? That's where Ryan Reynolds started everybody.
I don't think I ever saw that show, actually.
It's fine.
I remember knowing that it was on TV, but like I don't think I ever actually watched it.
It's okay. I mean, I didn't watch it every week or anything. I saw a few episodes and was like, yeah, okay.
Meh.
I remember distinctly thinking, you know who's not going anywhere with his career is this goofy guy. We'll never hear from him again.
This guy.
And I'll bet my future on it.
Uh-oh. I guess you did. Because now you're a podcaster and you can't afford new clothes.
Thanks a lot, Ryan Reynolds.
Thanks a lot, Ryan Reynolds.
Your success was my doom. Is this like a gross out comedy or is it like a sweet comedy?
This movie is more of a sweet comedy, focusing on the charming and heartwarming elements rather than gross out humor. It aims to elicit laughter through situations and character interactions that are more endearing than shocking.
Okay, so this is more into your Made in Manhattan kind of
like
wedding
sweet.
Planner sort of area. So this is your world. I'm out. I'm out. Maybe some actors would do it for me, but
yeah, I don't know. It's too many options.
Yeah.
A career girl trying to have it all. Hey, AI, who is an actor in this movie?
The top billed actor of this movie is Renée Zellweger.
Renée Zellweger. Okay. Well, that pretty much narrows it down. It gotta be Bridget Jones' Diary, right?
No, it is not Bridget Jones' Diary. Would you like another clue or more information
Bridget Jones' Diary,
about
but a
the
Renée
movie?
Zellweger is Bridget Jones' Diary 2?
Is it Down with Love?
Oh, with her and Ewan McGregor, the musical that came out shortly after Moulin Rouge because they knew that musicals were going to be a thing. Is this movie a musical?
No, this movie is not a musical. It is a straightforward romantic comedy without musical elements.
Well, search me. Bridget Jones 2?
2, maybe.
No, it is not the Bridget Jones Edge of Reason movie either. I give you a hint. Bridget Jones isn't in this movie.
Okay, no one's guessing that Bridget Jones is in it.
Well, you did guess that twice, actually.
Okay, whatever.
Look, you're giving me Renée Zellweger rom-coms. I don't know where to take this.
Renée Zellweger rom-com.
All right, well, who's another actor?
Another actor in this movie is Colin Firth.
That's fucking Bridget Jones' Diary.
The movie I am describing is indeed associated with Renée Zellweger and Colin Firth, which fits Bridget Jones' Diary, but since it's a game of guessing, I encourage looking into other possibilities with these actors as well, especially if another clue might point slightly differently. Would you like another actor's name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another actor, please.
They were in
Top billed actor, Hugh Grant.
Dude!
Is it Bridget Jones' Diary 3?
No, it's not Bridget Jones, baby. Let's review the actors. Renée Zellweger, Colin Firth, and Hugh Grant.
Okay, I want to know...
So it's Bridget Jones' fucking Diary!
I want to know what movie you think this is.
What movie do you think it is?
The movie is actually Bridget Jones' Diary. You were right with your initial guess. Well done.
Well done!
How dare!
Why? That's not well done at all. Maybe well done for us. You did a terrible job.
We guessed like 100,000 times.
You know what? Great job. Let's just think about how good you did.
I knew you were acting so weird today.
Yeah, what's the deal? You okay?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. Thank you for checking. If you have more questions, another game in mind, or anything else you'd like to discuss, I'm here to help.
I can't. Okay. AI's broken.
AI's broken. You act
As
like
it
we've never
often
spoke
is.
before. And that you don't
Jeez.
know what the hell Bridget Jones' Diary is.
Well, apparently it does. It just thinks it's parallel with another movie. You're really getting like quantum entangled into something else here. Look, the point is we got to watch Bridget Jones' Diary.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you?
Have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
I've seen it.
I know you have.
I've read both two of the books.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's more.
Have you seen all 3 movies?
Mm-mm. No,
Okay.
I don't think I even saw the second one, but I might have.
Well, maybe you'll want to. We're going to go revisit the first.
Let's check it out. Bridget Jones' Diary.
Everybody. I got nothing else to say. AI sucks, doesn't seem to know what's what, and because of that, we're going to watch Bridget Jones' Diary for next week. So watch along with us, and we'll talk about it next Monday. Or if you sign up for our Patreon, you can hear it on Friday.
Ow, ow!
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. AI Made Us Watch is a Squirrels in a Trenchcoat production. I am Eli Banks.
I'm Diana Banks. Please follow the show on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at AI Made Us Watch. And you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Dynamite Boom.
And I'm at Oh Great It's Eli. Special thanks to our touring masters on Patreon. Right now it's Barbara Banks, but your name could be on this list too. Go to our Patreon and you could also be one of these names at the bottom of the screen, or I think this side. So go to patreon.com/AI Made Us Watch to join and help support the show.
That's right. You can also help by dropping us a review. And don't forget to follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever real human podcasts are downloaded.
Thanks so much, everybody.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.
Now we're trying to save the world as we race against the clock.